What's going on, everybody? I hope everybody's having a wonderful, wonderful Friday, June 19th. Juneteenth, as they've been saying all day, and rightfully so. Welcome to another edition of the Blown Save Podcast. I am always your host, Mr. Brent, and I wouldn't be here without the one, the only, my partner in crime, Mr. Artie Casas. What's up, baby?
What's up? How we doing?
We are doing well, sir. Had yesterday and today off. Just been kind of relaxing. Had a couple drinks yesterday. And just kind of chilled all day, dude. It was nice to just be away from work. You know what I mean?
Nice. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Sort of. Mister, I'm not working right now. I'm on vacation. Yeah,
I miss work more than anything.
Hey, I'll trade you any day of the week, man. Look, I'll go home and hang out, and then you go to work and you go and deal with people right now.
Right.
Let's just jump into it, man. MLB, a lot of exciting, a lot of worried, and a lot of what the fuck's happening news. The owners came down with a 60-game schedule, full pay, extended playoffs in 2020 and 21. The players are not allowed to file grievances moving forward. The MLBPA came right back with a 70-game, full prorated pay, extended playoffs 2021, and with an agreement for assumption of pay for the resumption of pay, with $50 million in playoff bonuses and a 50-50 split for the new postseason TV deal in 2021. Also, the universal DH and the forgiveness of salary advance for Tier 1 through 2, I believe, or 3 players. With the season starting June 19th and 20th, also keeping the universal DH for the next 2 years. I mean, what do you think, Artie? I know there's a lot of talk between when we type this up and what's been going on right now. A couple people have popped positive for coronavirus. Where do you think this kind of ends up? Are they going to meet in the middle, like you said, and call it 65 and call it a day?
I think so, but man, this whole pop-ups of the coronavirus with the Phillies and stuff like that kind of has me worried in terms of a big setback, because that was part of the issue that the Players Union was saying, like, hey, we don't have good enough standards in place to be able to go back and play. So it seems like they're getting closer in some ways with the money. Like, I think the owners understand that the players just want to get fully compensated, like not partially compensated for taking bigger risks to play is going to be not an option for them.
Right.
So I think the owners are starting to realize that. So now they're trying, like you said, they're trying to figure out a number that says, okay, look, what can we hit that 100% guaranteed money for how many games? And the owners are saying 60 and the players are saying 70. So obviously it's got to be somewhere closer, because I did read a report saying that there's no way, because of the timelines and stuff like that, that 70 games is an option. So then the next thing would be obviously trying to squeeze in 65. But now that this whole pop-up of the Phillies, the Philadelphia Phillies closed their spring training facility in Florida after 5 players and 3 staff members tested positive for the coronavirus. So after that, that's going to be a whole nother hurdle, because now they got to talk about the whole bubble thing, similar to what they're doing with the NBA.
Yeah.
You know, so I just don't know. My instincts, like now with this and the way things are working out, I just don't. I'm seeing. Remember, I told you, like, this weekend I felt like was a weekend that if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen now.
Right.
If not, I don't think it's gonna happen. So, and I still kind of feel that way. I feel like if something doesn't get done this weekend, I just don't think we're gonna see baseball this year.
I mean, Manfred did come out and say that owners are 100% committed to getting baseball season going. Unfortunately, I can't tell you that I'm 100% certain that it's going to happen. Ken Rosenthall and Evan Drellich, I hope I said his name right, of the Athletic Report, said that there are more than 8 owners amongst the 30 who do not want the season to take place, but they are now seemingly closer to a deal after Manfred and Clark, the MLBPA president, have met in person. Man, with all this stuff, all this extra stuff, and we're going to talk about a lot of coronavirus stuff happening throughout sports, not just in baseball, but, man, it can't be a good sign for negotiations. This was the biggest thing that they were worried about, you know, so
yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen at this point? Who knows if we're actually going to have sports? You know, what's the, if, like they're talking about the bubble or whatever with NBA, what happens when somebody there gets sick and now they got to shut everything down because everybody's in that bubble together?
Yeah. Jeez, I don't know. I just don't know. Everything just feels like, you know how they talk about like how the heat was supposed to kind of curtail some of these, some of the virus's effects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I just feel like because of what's going on with I guess the world in terms of the social activism and stuff like that, that we almost kind of put it as a back burner what's going on with COVID. And it's not that the numbers have slowed down or anything. We're just not talking about it as much. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And people, because we're not talking about it, assume it's kind of gone. And so they're taking more chances. They're not wearing the mask when they go out, even though like over here, now they mandated it, you know, that if you go out in public, you got to wear the mask again. So people are just kind of taking it a little bit for granted. And I think all of us want to get back to some kind of normalcy, but it's just not here yet. You know, at least for us, look at the weather. It hasn't even been very hot yet. You know,
it's had its days, humid, but
yeah, it's not consistent, you know?
Yeah. The summer heat needs to hit already.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you know, I was looking at Father's Day weekend, you know, this weekend to have family over for the pool and stuff like that. And on Sunday, it's going to be 87 degrees. So I put the little pool cover over it in hopes of heating up the water a little bit. That way we have some kind of warmth, at least, of the water that's not so cold, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, that it's almost 90, man. That's plenty warm enough to go swimming.
For sure.
I know I'd be in the pool this weekend, but I got to work. I open Saturday or tomorrow, and then I close on Sunday. But it's fine. It's fine because then I work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I'm on vacation. So we might have to do a special edition podcast before I go on vacation, or we're gonna have to skip 1 week. I don't want to do that, but we'll see what happens in the next couple of days.
Doing a staycation, or are you actually going somewhere?
No, we're going out to the river. We're going far away from everybody else. And out by the Colorado River, by Havasu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the family always. Yeah, it's I forget the name of the little area. It's a little north of Pirates Cove. They have these little. No. We're talking about. It's literally. I'll have to show you off camera where we're going exactly, but it's like a 20-minute boat ride down the river to get to Havasu, and like a 5-minute river ride to get to the Pirates Cove. So
okay,
it's not bad. It's just a family. Everybody's going out there. We usually go out there once a year. We weren't going to go out this year because we had other plans, but those plans got canceled. So that's what we're doing now.
They just got pushed back.
Yeah. Well, this is true. Anywho, big announcements. Albert Pujols has announced that he will be paying the salaries of all of the Los Angeles Angels furloughed staff in the Dominican Republic for the next 5 months, which is really awesome. I believe it was like over $180,000 that he's going to pay those furloughed employees. Obviously, the dollar goes a lot further down there than it does up here. So he was able to do that. I'm not saying it's not a big expense. $180,000 to you and me is like, Jesus Christ, that's half our houses. Or at least a quarter of the house. Right. But good on him for doing that. And good on all the baseball players. I'm still waiting. I mean, good on for all the baseball players for doing these kind of things. But I'm still waiting for the owners to start doing some of this stuff because they're the ones with the real wealth out there that can really impact some things. But, you know, neither here nor there. I'm not the one that controls their money.
Yep.
We were talking about the baseball you're starting. There's a lot of news about Scott Boras. MLB execs and owners believe that Boras' influence has been detrimental in their attempts to reach an agreement for the 2020 season. I represent a number of players who sit on the boards and panels. I've got 15 guys who are making 25 to 35 million a year. These guys have big voices. Let them speak. A lot of times players don't agree with the direction the union takes. However, several players who aren't represented by Boras confirm that he has played a role in their negotiations, and some are even annoyed with his participation. Others have expressed their gratitude. Trevor Bauer said, hearing a lot of rumors about a certain player agent, quote unquote, meddling in MLBPA affairs. If true, at this point, these are only rumors. I have one thing to say. Scott Boras, rep your clients however you want to, but keep your damn personal agenda out of union business. Now, how much do you think this has been affecting the way the back and forth has been going with the players?
I mean, well, we don't know what the exact role,
right,
is. So it's like purely speculation in terms of, I could see him. He's just one of those dudes that just likes to give his 2 cents about everything,
Mm-hmm.
And because he has some powerful players behind him, that they tend to, I guess, listen to him, And because they listen to him, they form their opinions on what he's saying, and then they in turn start kind of manipulating some of the other players, maybe indirectly, or unknowingly, but
right.
They still do it. And because most of these guys are the higher end paid guys, they're usually leaders on the team. So usually leaders on the team are going to get the bigger support, like you're not going to get, I don't know, like a Darren Fletcher or something like that from the Angels, leading the way when you got like Albert Pujols saying, hey, we're doing this, or Trout says, tell us when and where, and everybody's like, he spoke, that type of thing. Does that make sense? Like,
oh no, absolutely. I don't think it's a place. I mean, I guess Scott Boras has the right to help his clients, but I hope he is not the driving force for why this has gone back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Obviously, money has been a big issue, but hopefully he's not the biggest problem because of that. I know he has. I don't see. I hope not. You know what I mean? He has been one of those agents, though, that have gotten those big ticket players. You know what I mean? Obviously, players are worth the money, but he's gotten his players consistently a lot more money than most other players.
Yep.
Let's just
sometimes they say the way he did it too was kind of underhanded and not the classiest of ways. Like the one I could think of, though, that stands out off the top of my head was when, I mean, it's smart negotiations, but the Red Sox did it in good faith, and then they got burned for it. And then the dude ended up not having very much of a good career after that, so it's kind of like, and I actually liked him. But I remember when Johnny Damon was with the Red Sox, and the Red Sox really wanted to re-sign him, because they had just won the World Series, and he did really well and stuff like that.
Wanted to keep the band together.
Yeah, they wanted to keep the band together, and they wanted a little bit of a hometown discount, and they made him a very good offer, and then the Yankees were in the running for him, and then they're like, oh, we're maxed out, blah, blah, blah. They're like, well, if you could just match the Red Sox or a little bit more, then Johnny will go with them. Again, I'm kind of paraphrasing all this, not exact thing, but they basically took the offer sheet that the Red Sox gave them, that the Red Sox said, look, we'll give you this in good faith, but this is our offer sheet, blah, 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 right? So then he took that offer sheet, and I guess they weren't supposed to, like, divulge it or something like that. Again, it's kind of off the top of my head. And he used that to get more money with the Yankees, and then he signed with the Yankees. So that, like, oh, man, that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. A lot of people, because they're like, well, we would not offered you that if we had known you were going to do this. Does that make sense?
Right.
And then Johnny Damon had 1, maybe 2 good years with the Yankees, and after that, his career just kind of went downhill because he made most of his, I don't want to say his money, but he had the best parts of his years with the Kansas City Royals and the Red Sox for sure.
I'm with you there. I agree with that. Yeah.
So, anyways, but I I personally don't think he has that big of an influence as people think, because Tony Clark's the main guy over there, dude. And that dude, let me tell you, he strikes me as a dude that's like, oh yeah, that's cool. All right, we still gonna do what's best for over here. I don't care what you say because you're not a player. Does that make sense? Like, he strikes me as that kind of dude, like that, straight up, and will tell you what it is. He might listen, but in his back of his head, he's probably like, you need to make some hell of an argument to change my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he's at least he's one of the few. If you think about it, who are the other? I know the NBA one, but like, who's the NFL? Who's in charge of the NFL? Do you know? Is it Richard Sherman?
I don't remember who it is. They were just talking about him on ESPN the other day.
Or was it a lineman? I think it was a lineman, wasn't it?
It was a lineman for a while. I know Richard Sherman's up there. He might be on the board of the NLPBA.
But you see how like Richard's really loud and vocal.
Yeah.
And same thing with like Kyrie, who's a VP, and Chris Paul. They're really loud and vocal. And again, Tony Clark isn't really loud and vocal. He kind of goes about it like business as usual type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He approaches it the way owners approach it, as like, hey, this is a business type of thing, and we're just going to do the best we can for ourselves. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know. He has this very business not like approach.
Kind of like Roosevelt, quiet but carries a big stick.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just don't think he's not going to be influenced very easily.
Yeah, I got you there. I mean, I think if Boris has anybody, isn't anybody's ears, it's going to be his clients, and unfortunately, his clients are some of the big boys out there. And
who's his biggest clients now, though?
Who's out there right now that is with him? Bryce Harper was his last big one.
Okay,
that's
Bryce does not see. He doesn't have that big of a name because, again, of how he handled contracts. You know, like his little attitude on the field. You know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he has as big a voice as he once did. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you there. It is what it is. He's got Chris Davis, Bryce Harper, Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg, and Jacoby Ellsbury are the big ones that he has.
So Chris Bryant, he's a good one that I think is very good about voicing his opinion. Who'd you say? Jacoby Ellsbury?
Jacoby Ellsbury, Steven Strasburg, Max Scherzer.
That dude's barely even in the baseball now. He's about to retire.
He's close to it, but you know what? I mean, he still got those are big names.
He's not a big name no more.
They're not huge names. Yeah, but they're well known throughout the baseball community. Come on.
If you could tell me how many home runs Jacoby hit last year, I'll believe you.
If I could tell you how many home runs he hit?
Over under.
Last year, I'm going to go with...
Over 10 or under 10?
Over 10.
Under, I bet you. That's my bet, for sure.
Right, well, let's see what it is here. Jacoby Ellsbury. Home runs.
He has 104 careers, so that's not looking
good. Oh, that's not looking good for me right now.
He had 7.
Damn.
He hasn't even played in 2 years. He hasn't played since 2017.
Oh, he's still getting paid.
Technically, he has 0.
Yeah, you win. Good thing we didn't put any money on that one.
Yeah.
I thought for sure 11.
Yeah, I didn't even realize he didn't play last year. I thought he got a couple games in, but still, he hasn't played, so he's not as big of a name anymore. Although he signed a big contract when he went with them and stuff like that. But again, another Red Sox that abandoned ship, you know?
Yeah, he went right to the Yankees and then.
Yep. The Yankees are blessed like that with getting those high quality Red Sox that just tank.
Hopefully, Mookie doesn't do that for you guys if he even plays for the Dodgers.
Yeah, I know, right? That's kind of scary. Dude, he had 70 steals one year. That's impressive.
Very.
70 steals. Jeez.
I think that's right before he got that big old contract.
He didn't get the big contract until he should have won the MVP that year, but he was second in running for the MVP. And then he had another 52. Wow, he only had that 132 home run season. Other than that, he's only had one other year where he broke double digits. And it was his first year with the Yankees, 16 home runs. I didn't realize that. I remember having him on fantasy that year for the year that he hit the 32. He was flirting with 40-40 that year. 32 home runs and 39 stolen bases. That's
Ooh,
pretty.
that's very much flirting with the 40-40.
Yeah. Anyways, but you're right. I think Strasburg obviously is a big one, but again, he doesn't stay a whole lot. You know,
Scherzer says enough. I mean, not. I don't. You know what? No, I'm gonna take that back.
Scherzer is like the main guy from the players union, like Tony Clark is like the main guy, right? Like the chief or the president or whatever.
Yeah.
And Max Scherzer is the next dude in line, you know. And of course, he's very smart and very vocal.
Most definitely, man. I just hope they figure it out and nobody else gets sick and they're able to actually have a season or figure out what they're going to do as far as how they're going to control everything and keep everybody in a bubble and make sure we have a season. We have sports. So, speaking of sports and keeping everybody out of trouble and keeping everybody not getting sick, in the NFL, several players have been found to have tested positive for COVID-19, including 13 players at Texas University and including Ezekiel Elliott of the Cowboys. All of Cowboy Nation has taken a step back and hope that he has a full, clean recovery. I hope to God he comes back clear. There have been statements made already that are talking about canceling the NFL season. Could this stem back to the gathering, quote unquote, that Dak had? This is a good thing. The good thing is Dez tested negative for COVID. The one time it's cool that Dez didn't catch it. Big shout out to my boy Matt from Boval for that one. He hit me up and was like, "Hey man, this is a one time Cowboy Nation is gonna be happy that he didn't catch it."
That's funny.
Big shout out to Dez. Hopefully you get to play this year, or if we even have a season. But hopefully you get out there and play. He's been looking good in his workouts, but it is what it is. What do you think is going on with the COVID? Do you think this is gonna push back the start of the NFL season?
Oh, I definitely think the NFL is going to be affected for sure. Like I told you, I just personally believe it's one of the biggest contact sports. I think basketball is the scariest one because, you know, they don't wear a whole lot of like layers of clothing, you know?
Right.
And it's constantly sweat going on amongst them. Now, does like sweat kill the germs? I don't know all those details, you know?
Right.
Because they're constantly sweating profusely. But football is kind of that fine line where they wear a little bit more protective gear, I guess, but they're not constantly like sweating the way basketball does. So it's like how much protection, and it's a lot of hand-to-hand touching for everything, you know, like everything. So I think something's going to happen with the NFL. I just think right now it's so far ahead that people aren't talking about it yet, you know, but wait till August gets here and things haven't been ironed out with baseball and basketball, and that's going to start to get scary. Especially let's just wait till even if July is here and things aren't ironed out with those two sports, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, they need to be ironed out if they're going to play this year. Like basketball looked like they were on pace to play until everything went down with the Players Association and Kyrie and whatnot, you know?
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I don't know, man. I get it. Everybody's trying to be safe. Everybody's trying to talk about the issues that are happening right now. I get it all. But, man, I mean, as a fan, I miss sports, man.
Oh, yeah.
We do. We have gotten a little bit here and there, a little soccer, a little NASCAR, some golf here and there.
Right.
But
MMA?
Definitely some MMA. But the big ones, man, the big three, football, baseball, and basketball, are just looming there. And we're hoping that everything works out and baseball, get off your ass and let's make it happen already.
Yeah.
Quick quiz for you, Artie. Who are the two NFL players? Who are the only two NFL players with 200 tackles, 10 sacks, or 10 or more sacks, 25 or more pass breakups within their first 3 seasons? Jamal Adams, because he's been in the news right now, and
it would have to be a DB or
definitely a defensive player.
No, well, yeah, but not. I'm saying like not a linebacker, not a defensive end. You know, I wouldn't think Jamal Adams is what, a DB, right?
He is.
So then my guess is going to be someone like.
I tell you this much. I think it's going to surprise you when I tell you who it is.
Tell me what team.
He plays for the Texans.
Oh, he still plays?
Still playing.
Oh wow, then it's got to be the defensive end that's there. What? JJ, what's the name? JJ Watt?
JJ Watt is correct. Damn, I knew if I gave you the name of the team, you'd probably get that one. But okay. JJ Watt and Jamal Adams are the only two NFL players ever with 200-plus tackles, 10-plus sacks, and 25-plus pass breakups within the first 3 seasons. Jamal Adams has been putting up some fucking numbers. God damn.
Oh. I was going to say, I was leaning towards Troy Polamalu, to be honest. That's what I was going to say. I was like,
we'd have to check his stats and see how close he is to that over those first 3 seasons. I think overall, I mean, he's going to be up in every stat, but this goes off of the first 3 seasons. So, I mean, there it is. And speaking of Jamal Adams, he is ready to bail on the Jets. The Cowboys were the front runner for a while. However, they did not go. They were not in for that high price that the Jets were looking for. Do you think he's actually going to get traded now? I know that the Ravens, Texans, KC, Philly, Cisco, and Seahawks, plus the Cowboys, are who is in the mix right now for him to be traded for. That's where he wants to go. He's already said, I want to go either here. Where do you think he ends up? Do you think he ends up staying in New York, being a Jet? Or do you think he goes somewhere else? Where do you think he's going?
Well, as soon as players start crying, it seems like that they get traded. You know, that's what happened to the dude from the Jaguars last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm drawing a blank with his name. Ramsey?
Yeah.
Did Ramsey go from the Jags to the Rams?
I want to say the Rams. It might be the Rams, yeah.
I think it was the Rams he went last year.
But I remember him complaining, and they let him go, or they traded him out.
He's not going to go KC. They're not going to make a powerhouse even more powerhouse. The Cowboys were in on it, is what I had seen also. So I mean, that's could always be an option.
Well, he is a hometown boy.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that has nothing to do with like who decides.
Yeah,
where they go. It's who's going to give them the best package. You know, Cisco's deep, so I don't think that they'll take him. I could see Phillies. I could definitely see the Seahawks and Ravens and the Cowboys. Yeah, I just don't see Kansas City and Frisco getting them.
Who do you think ends up with them then? You narrowed it down to 4.
Yeah.
Give me one.
I think he stays with the Jets because something's going to happen with the season that we don't see coming. It's not going to be a regular NFL season. I'll tell you that.
Definitely not. I completely agree there with you.
Something's going to happen. There's going to be some changes. There's going to be something that we just don't see. You know, there's going to have to be adjustments because they're going to start conflicting with all the other sports and stuff like that because they're running so late that they're going to make adjustments. Like, I know it. They're not just going to be business as usual. I'm like, you know what, we're the NFL, so we're just going to keep playing the way we are and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you anything, something's going to happen with the NFL that's just that we don't see. I don't know what, but something's going to happen.
You heard it here first, guys, on Juneteenth, 2020.
Yeah. Hey, you notice that they haven't said anything like the NFL, like any precautions they're taking besides what, like training camps and stuff like that?
Yeah. Other than that, they haven't really said much. So we'll have to wait and see what they decide. I heard one rumor that they were talking about everybody having to wear those face shields. With the screen, you know, like Zeke wears that, the visor or whatever. But they were talking about having it straight across. So almost like a what the hell is it called? Like a hockey player where they have the younger hockey players where they have it all the way covering their face. Right, so it's open on the bottom, but still, you know, covers their face from all the other stuff. So it'll be interesting to see if they go that route. You know, we'll see. I mean, that's the only thing that I saw that was a precautionary that they were talking about implementing throughout the league. Everybody would have to wear this. TB12 and Gronk show off the new Tampa Bay unis. Do you like them? What are you thinking? Isn't it weird to see them not in that red, white, and blue, or that grayish, whatever color they had back in Boston?
Maybe seeing Gronk back is a little strange to me, to be honest. But Tom Brady, I've already accepted it, and it seemed like he was going to leave, and he just wants to prove something, you know, like what we talked about. So it's not that different for me with Tom Brady, but I guess Gronk, what did he miss? Did he miss 2 full years or one year?
1 year.
1 full year. Yeah, it feels strange to have him back, you know? And I really want to know what the backstory is with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, how Tom got him to come back.
Yeah, and why he really left, because something tells me we're not getting the whole story,
I don't think we're going to hear the whole story until all this is over.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely would agree with that. But yeah, you get what I'm saying? Like, I just think I don't know, man, my spidey senses are telling me something's not right.
I'm with you there.
Yeah, it's more than anything, it was strange to see Gronk back. Tom Brady, not so much. Not as much. I'm sure for those diehard, Patriots fans. When I say diehard, I know they were just fans while Tom Brady was there. And
yeah, they're about to jump ship.
Yeah. And then they're going to say, well, I was a Tom Brady fan. I wasn't a Patriots fan.
Yeah.
It's like their things,
Yeah, they're going to pull an Andy.
Yeah, Brent, had a cousin's uncles. I went visited Texas once.
I've been there like 6 times. Moving on to the Chargers, they are in the mix to sign Kaepernick. According to reports, are they the best team for him to go to? The Chargers did draft quarterback Justin Herbert from Oregon, 6th overall in the first round this past draft. How does this rumor sit with Herbert? I haven't heard him say anything just yet. He was drafted to be Rivers' replacement. The Raiders owner has also greenlit and given the team permission to sign Cap. Will he be signed by the Chargers, the Raiders, or somebody else? Or do you think, even with all this going on, he doesn't get signed as a player? And I heard this small rumor. I only read it once and it was gone. I couldn't find it anymore. He's getting hired to a team, but more as a social, like part of the administrative kind of deal.
I think it's a little bit of both. A little bit of both. The Chargers just seem to be like the redheaded stepchild right now in LA with the Rams there, and I think they kind of got to do something to really like distinguish themselves. They don't seem to be drawing the fans that everybody's talking about. Maybe he could bring in a fan base that didn't exist, or doesn't needs to get bigger. I don't want to say it doesn't exist. That needs to get bigger, because I know Anthony hears this and gets on mad. What you mean is I've been a fan before you were born, blah, blah, blah.
Well, I mean, he's been alive longer than some of us have been born.
That's why he'd be like, because I don't even know how old he is. He's old. But he's older than me, and he's probably right. He probably has been a fan longer than I've been alive. So, yeah, I think they're going to, I would, the Chargers really, what they got to lose, what they got to lose by picking him up. And it's not like, the quarterback that they drafted, it's not like he's going to go in and be a dude that changes that team right away in one season. Do you?
I don't think so either. I think of the two, whether it be in the Raiders or the Chargers that get him, I think the Chargers would be better fit for him, just because they can have Herbert learn from behind him, kind of how things are going, and be poised to take over in a couple years. Given the opportunity, but I don't know, man. I think if nobody signs him to play, I think he'd be a good sign for an organization who's looking to expand their social awareness, and I think even then the Chargers are still really good for that, because I think they really need a good boost in a fan base.
Yeah, me too.
Anthony, I got one for Anthony. I haven't said it in a couple of podcasts, but go fuck yourself, Anthony. All right, and your goddamn Chargers.
Yeah, but I really, and I kind of just feel bad for the Chargers. I don't particularly like any football team, I guess, Yeah. But I do feel bad for them. Wasn't it Melvin Gordon? That you brought it up that he said, "Man, home games didn't even feel like home games, right?"
Yeah. So, he was also talking about how playing a game with no fans in the stands, and he was like, "I played for the Chargers for how many years? We never had fans in the stands." It was like, oh, he's cutting deep.
Yeah, he is for sure. So yeah, I think I definitely think the Chargers would be the right fit. I don't see the Raiders being that fit, and I think that'd be a good place. SoCal's very accepting of that. Yeah, I think that's the right fit. It's the right fit.
Right on. Moving on to the Redskins. Statue of former Redskins owner George Preston Marshall has been removed from RFK Stadium. The statue of the former Washington Redskins owner, George Preston Marshall, who was forced to integrate his franchise in the early 1960s, was removed from the outside of RFK Stadium on Friday morning. This symbol of a person who didn't believe all men and women were created equal and who actually worked against the integration is counter to all that we as a people, a city, and a nation represent. I think that was a good move from them. We can't change our history, unfortunately. All we can do is change our future. And I think the statue, I hope it doesn't get destroyed. I hope it goes somewhere and people are able to learn from it, because if we erase our past, we're doomed to repeat it, I think.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I agree. When I think of this guy, I think of the movie, what's it called? Night Train? The Train? Oh man, I'm drawing a blank on the dude's name right now. But it was basically about the football player, the running back that ended up getting Lou Gehrig's disease, right? I believe it's the Lou Gehrig's disease. What's that name of the movie? You remember?
I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm not.
He ends up getting he ends up going to the Browns with the running back that was famous because they were out of Syracuse and whatnot. Both of them went to the same college, and then the Redskins had the number 1 pick, but because of this owner, they traded that pick away to the Browns. So they that's the first thing I think of, is because they just weren't socially accepting of it. They're like, you know what, we don't want the number 1 pick. He's clearly the best player in football, but you guys could have him. That's like the first thing that comes into my head when that happens. So I think this is a good step forward. You know, we need to progress. Obviously, changes need to happen, and these are little small things. And like you said, I think you put it the right way. There's nothing we could really do about our past. All we could really do is learn from it and figure out how to grow from it and get better and do better, you know, and just be better, you know, like that's a lot of things. People are going to make mistakes as long as you don't keep repeating those mistakes, you know?
Yeah. And I think, honestly, it's not okay to destroy these things, these statues. And a lot of statues have been being taken down over the last few weeks, month or so. More so than before, and I hope they don't destroy them. I hope they go into a museum of tolerance kind of thing where you can go and learn about why these were taken down, what they represented, and how we're not going to repeat these same things. Because I think, honestly, if we erase them, we're doomed to repeat them.
Right.
It's just it's one of those things. So I hope we learn from what's going on, and I'm very proud to say, or I'm not proud. I am proud. I'm very happy to see that the Washington Redskins decided to do that. I don't think anybody prompted them to do that, and I haven't heard anything that the people were telling them no. They kind of just went quietly, took it out, and said, "Hey, we're going to get rid of this. We're removing the statue because of what it symbolizes and where we are today as a society."
I'll tell you what, if they didn't remove it, I think someone would have removed it for them, you know, just like what happened with, what was it, the Columbus, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, he got beheaded, and then he got blood, or
there was a few different ones, because there was a few different statues of his. One got beheaded, one got thrown in the lake, the other one got rolled in the dirt and mud, the other ones got tagged up and painted on.
Yeah. Stuff, right?
I mean, it's... Once again, you know what I mean? I get it. You want to remove the oppression and what happened back then. We get it. Take away the symbol, but we still need to learn from that. You know what I mean? He did sail across the ocean blue in 1492. I think everybody our age, at least, you know, remembers that. You know, he's the one that opened the bridge to the Americas, and which is why we're here today. Unfortunately, there was a bunch of other stuff that got put in there because of what he did, but we wouldn't be where we are now without that.
And I remember the name of the movie, The Express. And I know Anthony hates that because Anthony's like, why can't you ever just let it go? And blah, blah, blah. It's okay to not know which blah, blah, blah it was. And I was like, I don't know. It just irks me that I can't remember at the moment, but it always comes back to me. Yeah, The Express. Great movie. Great movie. If you haven't seen it, need to go watch that. Definitely on the, I would say, top 10 list of football movies of all time. And we We need to come up with like a little list like that for movies or something, or top 5. Once in a while.
I'm down with that. We'll have to sit down and actually go through that.
How about once the seasons kick off, we kind of do that, right? Like if MLB comes back and NBA comes back, we'll say, hey, in honor of, let's come up with what's your top 5 movies. Just kind of like you mentioned, we did one for like center fielders, right?
Yeah.
And outfielders and stuff like that. And best dudes not in the Hall of Fame, best dudes most likely be in the Hall of Fame.
I like it. I'm with it, baby. We'll get it going. First sport to come back. NFL, NBA, baseball. We'll make a top 5 list of movies you have to watch.
For sure.
For those sports. Really cool news for Las Vegas. The Pro Bowl has been awarded to them in 2021, which may be a good way to rejuvenate the game in Nevada, and especially after all this is going on. Las Vegas did lose the draft with all the public health issues and the crisis going on in the world, but the NFL is still full steam ahead with promoting its newest market. The NFL announced that the Pro Bowl will be held at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, home of the Las Vegas Raiders, on January 31st of next year. So, I mean, kudos to them. Good luck, Sin City. You're about to get invaded.
Right. I honestly think this is a win across the board for everybody. It's a great way for the poor Vegas, people that got shafted, I guess, for the NFL draft. I thought that was going to be a real cool thing. And then obviously the pandemic hit and things shifted and changed, right? Mm-hmm. But the Pro Bowl has kind of lost a lot of its luster. Really baseball and basketball, they're kind of like the ones to look at. Basketball this past year was awesome. That's one of the best all-star games I've maybe ever witnessed. Like that thing was absolutely awesome. And baseball is pretty solid. It's consistent. It has its traditions, and they're constantly updating the home run derby. The home run derby to me is the most exciting part of that whole weekend. And I always say that. And, which is sad because, my Dodgers, they probably lost their All-Star game this year, and I was really excited about that. But what I do like about the Dodgers not having the All-Star game, and I know I'm going a little off topic here, is that my boys are small, so that maybe in 2 more years when it comes back, I'll definitely be able to take them, and they might remember it a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely, man.
And I'm definitely, because every year is a little different. Our finances change. They get a little bit better, at least for me and my family. So I think we'll be even a better spot to actually go, this year. Sure, we would have pitched some pennies and maybe, taking a step back financially or 2, whatever, but it would have been worth it.
Oh, absolutely. But I think you're right. The boys wouldn't have remembered it as much as they would in about 2 years. I think the same way with Luke going out to watch that as well.
Yeah, and so I think the Pro Bowl football, I think that's great. One of the things that I remember, I was never much of a Pro Bowl guy, for football, and I started liking football at a later age, right? Mm-hmm. But one of the things I would remember when I didn't know about the Pro Bowl is that it always happened in Hawaii. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It all went down over there. And then once that went away, it's most people that aren't avid football fans, where does the Pro Bowl take place now? Do they move it around like they do in the NBA and, in baseball? There's no consistency to it. You know? And I think Vegas would be the perfect place for it because there's just so much excitement going around. It's local to a lot of people. They have the airports that a lot of people want to fly into, and there's things for people to do. It obviously they don't really need the stimulation in the economy because they always that's where people go to just burn money. Mm-hmm. But still, I just think it's kind of the right fit that that's a good spot to kind of maybe start hosting it or hold on to that Pro Bowl,
Yeah, I'm with you there, man. I'm happy for them to get that. It's going to be interesting. Hopefully, if it does well economically and with the game and everything going on, hopefully it stays there because it gives us a more centralized location than going out to Hawaii. I mean, I'm nothing against Hawaii. I've never been. I want to.
They don't have it there no more. They have it in Tampa now, I think. They have it now. That's what I'm saying. It used to be in Hawaii, but now it's in Tampa.
Right on. Well,
Florida.
Yeah, we'll just have to see what happens over the next year, and we'll see where it goes from there.
The only thing that I would worry me is the NFL is known for having the biggest troublemakers in terms of sports.
Oh, I know, right?
Kind of geez, You know, I don't know. Granted, most of the ones that are in the Pro Bowl aren't the ones usually getting in trouble. Not to say that they don't get in trouble, but they're generally not the ones getting in trouble, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Be curious to see what would happen there.
Right on. Switching gears, literally and pun intended, to NASCAR. Says it will ban the Confederate flag. In fact, they have banned the Confederate flag from all races. The announcement came 2 days after Darrell Wallace Jr., the first black driver in 50 years to win a NASCAR's Top 3 National Touring Series, called on NASCAR to ban the flags outright, thus becoming the latest organization to reconsider the emblem's place amid a national reckoning over racism and white supremacy after the death of George Floyd. The presence of the Confederate flag at NASCAR events runs contrary to our commitment to providing a welcoming and inclusive environment for all fans, our competitors, and our industry. Bravo to NASCAR.
Yeah, that was impressive. I didn't think they would do it because their fan base is, you got to know who their fan base are. And I was like, they're not going to do it. They're just going to give it the old silent treatment and just move on. And they didn't give it the silent treatment. So, like you said, kudos to them. Like, that's impressive. Did they lose fans? I don't know, because they're not allowed over there right now. But
I honestly think they lost some fans. I know one of the drivers said he's not driving after this season. He's quitting or whatever in protest against them getting rid of the Confederate flag.
Really?
Yes, but they were talking about that driver. He's like, he's never been in like the top 5, I think top 10 in points any season that he's ever raced. Okay. So it's like, all right, cool, man, later.
Have fun with that.
Yeah, have fun standing up for it. Yeah, you stand up for this racist thing that's there and nobody likes right now, and bye. Like, we're not going to miss you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, kudos to NASCAR. I know we were saying, did they lose any fans? I think they're losing some fans, but I think they're going to gain such a larger fan base because of this. I think more people are going to watch NASCAR because of what they did here and now.
Well, did you see Alvin Kamara went to the race? He was there to support.
Yeah.
Darrell Wallace Jr. Like, that was pretty cool. And Kamara doesn't strike me as a dude that likes NASCAR, racing and all that stuff. Does it to you or no? I think that's cool.
Very much so. Like, I mean, I have watched it. I've watched some F1, but I'm not an avid watcher. I'll watch the Indy 500. I'll leave it on the TV and let it running while I'm sweeping and mopping.
I watch Cars 1, 2, and 3.
The Piston Cups.
Yeah, man. The Piston Cup. Man.
I mean, I only watch it very, very closely in the last like 15 to 20 laps. If I watch any race, like I said, I'll have it up if there's nothing else going on. I'll have it up while I'm cleaning or whatever, and I'll kind of glance up and down here and there. But say again.
I see you talking about Lightning McQueen or NASCAR?
No, I'm talking about NASCAR. Lightning McQueen has my attention at all times. A quick hit on the NCAA football. Welcome home, Reggie Bush. Bush was welcomed back to USC after a 10-year NCAA ban. Bush came out and said, "I have dreamed of this day for 10-plus years." He added, "I am excited to come home." And the outcry from fans just welcoming him home and welcoming him back with open arms has been amazing, man. I'm super excited for him and actually him being able to come back and be a part of USC again.
Yeah, man. Watching him play college football was, to me, some of the most exciting times in college football. I'm not like a USC fan. I'm a SoCal fan. So, like, I know I kind of like UCLA and USC. But, again, I didn't go to school at either one of those. So that's why, like, for me, it's not that big of a deal. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're either USC or UCLA, right?
Yeah.
But watching that dude play he was so exciting, man. Like, he made me want to watch every USC football game. I don't think there's been a player since before him or after him that I was more excited to watch a college football game. So the only thing I watch college football now is like where some of my old students are playing and stuff like that. Like, again, the running back at USC right now is a former Skyhawk. So I like watching USC football to see what he does. But if I didn't have that connection to him, I don't think I'd be watching it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Reggie Bush was like, dude, he was like Sunday football on Saturdays. You know, like you had to watch him.
I like that.
You had
Sunday football on Saturdays. I like it. Somebody copyright that.
he was awesome. I mean, yeah, I hope that he had some other good players with him, but dude, he was so electric. Like every time he touched the ball, you're like, what's he gonna do? He's gonna do something that we've never seen on the field, you know. And some of the things I think about is like the Bush push, you know, over in Notre Dame, like that time where he's running on the sidelines and he whips the ball around his back and shifts to the other side of the field. Like that stuff is like, dude, who does that? You know, that stuff you do on like a playground, you know?
Oh, absolutely. That stuff you do on a video game, and he was doing it in real life. And absolutely, I think it was a very good time in college sports or college football at least when he was out there playing, and it was an amazing time for USC football and the Pac-10, or at the time it was Pac-10, not the Pac-12.
Right.
But I think it was absolutely amazing. I'm happy that he's finally back officially. He can become again part of the USC alumnus, and he's come back home finally. So kudos to you, Reggie. Welcome back. The NBA. Big questions in the NBA loom. Will there be an NBA season? VP Kyrie Irving, you were talking about this earlier, thinks the time to stand right for social activism is now. Thinks there shouldn't be any basketball played whatsoever. Says that the players should and could start their own league. In a recent chat group with the Nets players, Kyrie Irving lobbied for skipping the bubble. The Daily News has learned in that chat, he also proposed that the players can start their own league in response to a statement from Irving and Brad Leeds' coalition that likened the restart plan to a system of use and abuse. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver acknowledged the reboot of his sport won't be for everyone. The players do have until June 24th to notify their teams that they'd prefer not to play in Orlando. Irving doesn't have to because he isn't going to play either way after undergoing shoulder surgery in March. What do you think, man? Where do you think all this is going, man?
Dude, this was really interesting to me. So it was one thing to say, hey, you know, let's stand up for activism, and right now is not the time. Let's show them how important we are, and let's show them how, you know, black players basically run the NBA. It's kind of like what he's saying, right? Not in those exact words, but
that's what's coming across.
Yeah. And I was like, man, that's interesting, you know, to say and do that, kind of take that approach about it. Mm-hmm. Like it was, you know, I could see the flip side to both. But to hear him say that they could start their own league, that was just like, whoa, that was something way different, you know, like just way different. And honestly, I could see it happening. If someone organizes it, why not? Why not just be like, all right, hey, we're going to take all our talents. You do what you want, and we're going to take all our talents, and we're going to start our own league over here. And let me tell you, the people are going to come watch us play. Don't you think?
I think at this point, they've gotten to the point where if they get enough of them, they could have enough money to start their own league.
Yeah.
And
I really think they could, because in the NBA, it's not as big of teams as like Major League Baseball and NFL. Like, dude, you could run 15 deep, right? Mm-hmm. And have a quality team. 15 guys to a team. Imagine someone that says, hey, let's start a 10-team league. You only need 150 guys. There's 150 guys that can really ball. And if you get some of the big names to go on board with it, dude, that could change everything. You know, and if Kyrie's like, I'm down, he's already one of the big names. Wouldn't you say he's a what?
Yeah.
He's a top 20 guy in the NBA for sure.
Absolutely.
Like, he gets hurt every year, but he's a top 20 guy for sure. When he's healthy, dude, he's a top 5-7 guy, right? When he's fully healthy, but he's not always fully healthy. But he's a top 20 guy for sure. And if you're saying, hey, KD's down with it too, KD's a top 10 guy. You know, he doesn't get hurt often. He's just been hurt lately. But he's a top 10 guy. And again, when he's on, he's a top 3 guy in the NBA. Mm-hmm. So you got those two already on board. You know, it's only a matter of time before maybe some of the other dominoes kind of fall. Now the big thing is how they're going to coordinate it, who's going to run the show, who's able to keep things in the up and up, like that's really interesting. I think Chris Paul's towards the end of his career. He's still a good player, don't get me wrong. Like he had, a bounce back year this year, but his best years are behind him, right? Mm-hmm. And I think he's a dude with the right voice and the right people, because he's friends with LeBron, he's friends with Carmelo, he's friends with D Wade. He's a dude that could somehow kind of say, hey, we could really do this. And he's all, I'll be the president and I'll run this thing and blah, 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 blah. And he's smart enough and has the right people listening to him that I think he could coordinate something like that. Of course, the big pull would have to be getting LeBron James to go with it, Yeah.
I know that any of the players who don't play in Orlando will forfeit 1/93rd of their money that's owed to them on their contracts for every game they miss, unless they have a medical exemption. So money isn't going to be a big issue here when it comes to them playing or not playing. It seems, though, the players are a little divided on it. I know the king, LeBron, has said, we ballin'. And you wrote down here, interesting that his nemesis said the king has spoken.
All right. I forget his name, but he's for the Clippers, the little small defender, Blevin? I forget his name right now.
But yeah, he came out and said, if Bron is playing, we're playing.
Yeah, it was really interesting to hear that dude get behind LeBron and say, all right, let's do it. He said it. And they had that feel of like Trout, when Trout said it like, hey, tell us when and where. As soon as he said it, like, oh, all right, I'm in. If he's in, I'm in. And that's, in some ways, I think LeBron is kind of like that too. But he has a bigger voice than Trout because, again, the NBA to me is smaller in numbers compared to Major League Baseball.
Right.
And LeBron has always been very vocal. Trout is more that quiet, silent leader type of thing,
No, but I completely agree with you. It's just like when Trout said, tell us when and where. End of story. Just tell us when and where, and we're ready to go. And everybody behind him about tell us when and where, tell us when and where, tell us when and where. Like, everybody just fell in line. Like, let's do it. Trout's going. We're going. Let's do this. So for LeBron to come out and be like, we're balling. And the person, like you called him, his nemesis, somebody who doesn't get along with him, goes, if Bron's playing, we're all playing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that simple. So does that put a kink in the players-only league? Who knows? I mean, we'll see where it goes. It'd be very interesting to see if that takes shape, how it would look, and if it would resemble something like the 3-on-3 games that Ice Cube started, that 3-on-3 tournament or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I think it'd be a regular, but it's one of those that it's not just going to pick up, It's one of those that they got to start kind of, I don't know what they call it, kicking over rocks and see what happens,
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting if they get some of the big names to go that way, to leave the NBA where they're getting paid, to go somewhere where they don't know what the future is going to be.
Yeah. I find it very, very, very interesting. I don't know.
So
his name is Patrick Beverly.
Okay.
I was thinking of the one that said it. He said he was in, and again, he annoys everybody. He's a little dude that just gets the most out of his game, and I kind of like that. He's an underdog,
Mm-hmm. But
still, to your rival or the dude that you're always talking smack about or always on, to say, hey, I'm with it. If he's with it, that's speaks volumes to me.
Where do you think they go from here? Do you think they end up playing in the bubble in Walt Disney World, or do you think they take a step back?
No, I think they do, because I think the NBA is very proactive with all that stuff compared to, it seems like they have a better relationship with what's going on and very accepting with NBA, the players and stuff like that they're willing to listen to all this and this and that. I think Kyrie is hard to get behind because he's hurt. Because he's not playing, he's talking about how, I'll give up everything to see this through and stuff like that. And then I heard, what's the name? Doc Rivers' son. I forget his name. Rivers, right?
Yeah.
I heard him say, he's in the minority because he's a dude that's already gotten paid, and he's part of like the 10% in the NBA that has big contracts. He's most of the guys in the NBA don't have big contracts, haven't gotten the money he's gotten over his career. Is all while he say he's willing to give up everything, he's all really like you're not giving you're willing to give up everything from here on out. He's all he wouldn't be, and I'm not saying he said this, but I'm saying I could see where he's leaning towards. He's not saying, hey, I'm willing to give up everything I've earned. He's saying I'm willing to give up everything from here on out. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And I think a lot of guys, that's where a lot of guys like, whoa, wait a second here. Like, I'm with the cause and stuff like that, but hey, we got families. We don't have the kind of bankroll you got going on here. You're not playing. You're there. He's hurt, and his team's out of the running. So that's why I think it's one of those, like, how much water does he really hold? Other than being the VP and having a voice that people will listen to a lot, how much water does he hold? And remember, he's a dude that's bounced around teams already, that cried about just winning a title with Cleveland and wanted out of there and went to the Celtics and was talking about how he was going to build something with the Celtics, and things didn't work out the way he wanted with the Celtics and bounced to the Nets. And now he's still hurt with the Nets and not really doing anything, like he's not a dude that, like I said, that I think everybody's going to rally around. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So I don't think he's a bad dude or anything. Don't get me wrong.
I don't think his intentions are in the bad place.
I agree.
I think his intentions are noble, and he wants to try and create something else. But I think it speaks volumes when other players are like, "Hey, man, you already got your money, you already got your stuff. If you walk away now, you're set already." Some of us don't have that yet. Like, we're still working to get there, and so I think it'll be hard pressed for some of these players to walk away from money that they're getting right now to see what happens next. And if they get paid, what happens if that flops and they try to come back to the NBA and the NBA is like, nah, man, you walked out. You're not coming back. I mean, obviously, somebody like LeBron leaves and then comes back, somebody's going to pick up LeBron. But for the everyday seventh guy on the roster, coming in the second team, third team guy, it may not be the same. So, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. Any last thoughts? What's up?
Yeah, going back to baseball right here. Because I just got the message. It says, Ken Rosenthal, MLB has told Players Association it will not make a counter offer to Union's 70-game proposal. Sources tell me and Evan Drellich, league talking with owners this weekend to discuss next options moving forward. Last offer was 60 games, could try to implement in 50-odd range. You know how they could make them play those games? So, yeah, man. So it's not looking good. Looks like they don't want to counter to the 70.
One step forward, 3 steps back. Jesus Christ.
Right.
Just when you think, like, all right, they're giving you everything you want, except they want 10 more games.
Right. And
then they're like, well, no, how about 10 less games? It's like, Jesus Christ, dude, what the fuck? Why don't we just go back to 60? Shit. Like, come on.
Yeah, interesting. Very, very interesting.
All right, man. Any other thoughts before we call it a day?
No, I just hope we get one sport going, and I hope all these little viruses and positive tests that popped up in the past week don't scare the sports from coming back. I wonder what this situation is. We don't know all the details other than, hey, they popped up, and it's like, well, why did they pop up? Like, what's the factor or the reasoning behind it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I want to know more than just, hey, the Phillies organization has, 8 cases going on. And, who was it? It was Texas. Had, like 30-something people, right?
Yeah, 13.
13. And then we just had that other one that, what was it? Michigan. I sent you a message about it. Had 28. Clemson,
yeah.
Had 28 positive COVID tests among the football players. Like, damn, what's going on here?
The only thing I can think of when it comes to stuff like that is that all these guys are really young. And I hate to say it, but being young and dumb, trying to go out there and do stuff when you know you shouldn't.
Right.
Hopefully everybody comes back well, nobody gets too sick, and nobody passes away from this kind of thing. But, I mean, if you put yourself in a situation where you're going to be exposed to certain things, especially right now during the pandemic, you're doing it to yourself. Please, everybody else, learn from what's going on right now and stay the hell home unless you absolutely have to go out.
Yeah.
Coming from a guy who's going to the river next week. Was that?
I said good luck with that.
I know, right? It's gonna be hot enough out there. It's like 120, so don't tell me it's gonna survive at 120.
Mm-hmm.
Watch us get over there. It'd be like 75. Like, what's happening? I just want to say thank you from not just around the nation, but around the world. Hello to our listeners from India, France, and Pakistan. We hope you guys are enjoying the show, and we thank you guys for listening. Thanks to our fans across the states in Mobile, LA, La Puente, Riverside, El Segundo, Chino, here in California. Thank you guys all. Frisco, McKinley, and Irving, Texas. And a big shout out to our listeners coming for us from Sin City in Las Vegas, Nevada, and everybody else if you guys are using a proxy server. And I can't tell where you guys are at. We appreciate you guys coming out and listening to us. Artie, let's hear your goodbye.
Yeah, just make sure to stay healthy, wear your mask, and wash your hands, because there is no such thing as a second wave yet. It has not gone away. Be safe and stay healthy, my friends.
All right, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and follow us. Hit us up at the Blown Safe Podcast at gmail.com. We will catch you guys next week. Stay tuned because you might get an earlier Blown Safe Podcast because I will be out of town. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, guys, stay safe. Be safe. We love you all. Thanks.